Hi y'all, welcome to another week in Kirsten's library. Ben wanted me to put on, a real scholarly outfit, but I don't have one. So hope you're all having a good week. Hope that, week 2 quarantine's treating you okay. I know I'm starting to go a little stir crazy. I don't know if anyone else has allergies, but being stuck inside and having horrible allergies, it's not a great time. So I'm right there with you. I miss you all. I am really excited for us to kind of get back into it. So the leaders and I had a meeting and we decided we're going to change things up a little bit, right? So it's a lot to watch church on Sunday morning with your family, and we're really encouraging you to really sit in worship, and worship online looks a little different. But we're really encouraging you to watch worship on Sunday with the big church. So we're going to change up how we do youth group on Sunday so that it's not 2 sermons that you're watching on your own, right? That's a lot. That's like an hour and a half, 2 hours of online videos, and that's too much for me. I joke with my roommate because if he sends me a video that's longer than 15 minutes, I'm not watching it. He loves long YouTube videos, but I don't. So how we're gonna do this now is I'm gonna start a segment called Coffee with Kirsten, and it's going to be short 10-minute videos, and I'm gonna post them on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, right? So we're gonna do it 3 times a week, so you're still kind of getting the same amount of content, but in short snippets. And because it's short snippets, we're not gonna have like a traditional kind of youth group, right? It's not going to be like me talking at you for, a long time. It's going to be 10 minutes, and then I'm going to give you some tools, right? When you're learning to read, I always got told, okay, we're going to put tools in your reading tool belt. It's the same thing with reading the Bible. So we're going to start this journey, and I pray that you really engage with it in Coffee with Kirsten and her practical guide to reading the Bible and communing with God, right? We go to church our whole lives, and, we're told to read the Bible, and we're told to spend time with God. But what does that actually look like? I didn't learn how to really do those things until college when I took a formal class on it, how to read the Bible for all it's worth. So we're going to walk through that the next couple weeks. What does it look like to read different parts of the Bible? Right? You don't read poetry and science fiction the same way. A lot of these books behind me, right? I read these differently than I would poetry, right? So why would I read genres of the Bible the same way, right? The Bible is 66 books put all together, right? We have poetry, we have, divine revelation, we have stories, there's wisdom. All of them are different, and they should be read a little differently. So we're going to go over what does that look like, right? What does it look like to read each of these genres? And so I'm going to kind of teach you what it looks like to read each of those. How should we be reading it? What should we be looking out for? What is the author's kind of intent? And I'm going to give you, and I'm going to make it fun. It sounds like it's very much an English class right now. And then at the end of that, I'm going to give you a passage. And I invite you to kind of interact with that passage, right? Read it. What is, it's going to be with the genre. So we're going to start in the Old Testament, right? So Old Testament narrative. So I'm going to pick out a fun story for you to read in the Old Testament, which there are lots of them, right? And then I want you to interact with it and spend time with God. Now, if you're like me, I need like structure and I need instructions on how to do everything. I should be good at math because I'm like that, but, I like procedures. So I'm going to teach you this way of reading the Bible, right? Because when I just say, okay, I'm going to read this passage, right, I end up reading it really quick, and it's more of a chore than it is to spend time with God. So one of my favorite ways to read the Bible is called Lectio Divina. Sounds really fancy, but it's just divine reading. It was created in the 6th century, so it's been a Christian practice literally for centuries, right? People have been doing this for a long time, and generally if stuff sticks around for that long, Sorry, I keep, like, the light is moving through the windows. And if stuff sticks around for that long, it's generally pretty good. So Lectio Divina, divine reading, right? So it's split up into 4 parts. So the first part is reading, right? So you come to a certain passage in the Bible. And it's really hard for us to not come to the Bible with an agenda, right? Because God is an actual being, right? And it's God's divine word. It's how he speaks to us. So we often come to the Bible with things like, God, I'm having a really bad day. God, I need advice on this. Or, God, I need you to show me what to do with this situation, right? Or you just come to the Bible and you're just tired and it's hard to, interact with it. Totally get it. I'm the same way. Lectio Divina encourages us to come to the passage with no expectations, right? You're not coming to get advice. You're just coming to spend time with God, right? It's just time together with God. So you come to this passage, and I'm going to give you a passage based on the type of genre we talked about. And so you read this passage, and you don't read it with any kind of expectation, right? So you read it over once, and then you read it again, right? And maybe you read it multiple times, and it doesn't have to be a long passage. Then you start to meditate. So reading and the second part, meditating, kind of blend together, right? So then you start to notice what's jumping out at me. What passages, what words, what verses is God kind of really putting in front of me, right? What am I drawn to over and over again? And you'll find that there's always kind of a passage that God is speaking to you through, right? Maybe it's a whole chapter, right? Maybe it's a short chapter. Maybe it's just like 3 words, right? Follow the signposts. Maybe that's kind of what you're drawn to. So start meditating and kind of thinking, and meditating is one of those words in Western culture that we don't really know what to do with. It sounds like a yoga term or something that they do in the Middle East. But meditating just kind of means like, I'm going to breathe and pause. And I'm going to listen to what God's saying, right? So it's very much like a listening, right? I'm going to empty my mind of all of me and just let the Holy Spirit kind of dwell within me and just listen. This is really hard. Meditating is a muscle that's kind of built up over time. And it's hard. It took me a really long time because I want to get things done really quick. But kind of think about what God is saying in the passages and how are they relating to me. And then you move on to the third step, which is prayer. And this is where you pray over the passages that God has put in front of you. Like, okay, God, I see that you're putting this passage in front of me. I see that you keep telling me not to be anxious, right? Well, God, help me do that, right? So you start kind of praying the scriptures. And this is a really old practice, too, that the apostles did all the time, right? You start praying based off of the scriptures. And leave this prayer time kind of open-ended, right? Don't come with an agenda. Just kind of see where your prayers go. Ask for forgiveness. Maybe you need to ask for forgiveness about something, or you're hurting, and this passage is kind of giving you comfort, or just it's a time to talk with God, right? So you've sat and you've listened. Now it's time to respond and to talk, right? And that doesn't mean that we just I'm really bad for vomiting all over God, right? I have these prayers, God. I'm anxious. I got a lot going on. I don't have a lot of time to sit with you. But that's not, it's a conversation. So allow time for pauses. And the fourth step is action or reflection. So often if you let God just kind of guide your mind and the Holy Spirit move, he'll give you direction or action. So after reading this passage and meditating and praying, think, how can I apply this? Okay, God, what are you telling me? What am I supposed to go out and do? Maybe it's not an actual action. Often for me, it's God just reminding me, sit and be still, right? Sit and take time to relax. Or maybe it's God keeps putting these, I need to go apologize to that person. Or this scripture's really telling me to do this. That kind of thing. So that's kind of how it's going to work. I've posted a YouTube link in the bottom. in the comments so you can kind of rewatch and see. And know that this is going to make you a little uncomfortable. It's going to be hard. When I was taught how to do this in college, hated it. Because it really goes against everything that we want, right? We're selfish people. We want to kind of do things our own way. But Lectio Divina kind of forces us to pause, to listen, right? To be like Samuel. Okay, God, your servant is ready, right? I'm listening. It's going to kind of make you uncomfortable. And I challenge you to kind of lean into that, right? Why is it making you uncomfortable? Why is it hard to sit and listen with God? It's a muscle you kind of have to build. But I promise you, God will use this really intentional time. And it could look like 5 minutes or it could look like 30, right? There's no time limit on Lectio Divina. And it's going to be shorter at first, right? You don't start off by reading 5 chapters of the Bible every day, right? It's got to build. But I encourage you to sit with it and to really actually do this. Don't just blow over the scriptures. God will bless your time. I can tell you that this practice transformed my relationship with God because I had to start listening, right? This is when I started engaging with God. It wasn't just one-sided, me throwing up a prayer. It was really intentional. So I really encourage you to not just look at my videos and kind of get, oh, okay, Kirsten, that's how I read the Old Testament. That's how I read, wisdom lit. That's, I encourage you to kind of challenge yourself in this time. I know there's a lot going on, but I want us to take this kind of different time and use it in a different way, right? Let's use it to engage God in kind of a different kind of practice. Let's be intentional about our disciplines. So talk with your small groups tonight. What are you hesitant about? Are you, are you saying, oh, I don't need this? I don't think this is what I need, or, this just sounds like too much work. What are you feeling anxious about with this practice? And kind of pray over it for the next couple of days, right? I'm not going to give you anything today, because I want you to sit and pray with God and be like, okay, Kirsten's put this challenge before me. How can I, how are you going to use this, God? Calm my heart. Give me the attitude of approaching this. Really try and engage with it. I know it's hard, and I know you're like, oh, Kirsten, I have so much going on. I don't want to do this. Okay, I'm just putting it before you. So that's how it's going to work. Coffee with Kirsten, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm hoping to get them posted around 10, but give me a little grace, right? They're going to be short little snippets, summaries of how to read the genre, and I hope that you get excited about that. I get really excited about that kind of thing. On top of that, I want to engage with you guys. I miss you. I'm not a small group leader anymore, so I don't have like a group of you to kind of connect with. So I want to start doing things like Watch Party Wednesdays, right? We watch a movie together through Google Chrome, or I want to play Jackbox games with you. I'm even willing to download Fortnite and play with some of you, even though I'm really bad at first-person shooters, right? I want to engage with you guys. I want to play things like Uno cards online. There's even a Catan version that I found online, so we can play Settlers of Catan board games together. I want to connect. So I've given each of your small group leaders a code to a Discord server, so you could download the app Discord and put this code in. And we can talk. I can tell you, hey, I'm bored at home. Somebody play games with me. Or maybe you have questions like, hey, Kirsten, I was reading the passage you sent and I don't understand, or I don't get Lectio Divina. I feel like I'm missing it. I don't know. I want to hear your questions and your concerns. If you don't want to get on Discord and you're like, Kirsten, don't make me download another app. I'm already learning how to use Zoom. I'm already learning how to use Google Classroom. I don't want to have to do another app. Add me on Facebook. Add me, which you guys aren't on anymore, I know. Snapchat, Instagram, right? I want to hear from you all. I can even post these on TikTok, so when you're scrolling the little For You page, maybe my little face will pop up. Get in contact with me, right? Ask your small group leaders. I'm pretty easy to find on the internet. I try to be. So yeah, I really miss you guys, and I miss engaging with you, and I'm stuck in the house with my dog and my husband, with nowhere to go. My allergies are really keeping me inside. So I hope you guys are all doing well, and I pray that God kind of takes this challenge before you, and you know, we're kind of shaking it up a little bit, and I pray that you engage with it. I know it's kind of hard, but you know, I think it'll really be fruitful, and it'll change kind of your relationship with God. So I look forward to seeing you with Coffee with Kirsten. I'm gonna have my little Tim Hortons mug. I know that this one was a little longer, but I encourage you to go watch YouTube videos on Lectio Divina, and kind of engage with it. You know, it'll be hard, but just know I'm doing the same thing. I'm gonna be doing it multiple times a week, and maybe you just do one passage. That's okay. You know, we're all going through a lot right now. You know, some of you are at home with multiple siblings who haven't lived with you for a while. You know, your family is back from college, or, you know, maybe you're like me in high school and I just was constantly out of the house, and I was never with my family, and now all of a sudden you're stuck with them. You know, there's a lot of stressors going on, and we know it's hard to connect, and you're overwhelmed, and there's a lot going on. But let us know how we can help. Let us know how we can pray for you. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you again, and I'll see you with Coffee with Kirsten on Tuesday. Bye all.